Alrighty, Niner fans, welcome back to another episode of Shifty's 49ers Talk. It's your boy Shifty. This one goes out to Niner fans, near, far, NFL fans, sports fans. You are all welcome here. Today, we are going to be previewing the NFC Wild Card round matchup between the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Jerry World, traveling to Dallas to take on those Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a good one. There's a lot to talk about in this video. How I'm going to do this video is I'm going to break it down, the Niners offense versus the Dallas defense. Then we'll do the Niners defense versus the Dallas offense. We'll do a little bit on special teams, then we'll wrap it up. Just before that, though, before we get into that, I want to say that, hey, love all the support in the streams, in the videos. They've been blowing up, which has been so awesome to see. I want to say a shout out to all the new subscribers who've joined the channel, and of course, everyone who's been here since the beginning. It's been a whole lot of fun. Hopefully, a whole lot more fun to come in the near future with the Niners in the playoffs. And of course, we're going to be covering off-season topics, free agency, draft, coaching changes, which is going to be a whole lot of fun too. So thank you for everyone for the support, and we are going to get into the video right about now. Alrighty, so we are going to be talking about the 49ers offense going up against the Dallas defense, what the Niners need to do, and then some statistical comparisons between the teams. So as of the end of the regular season, the 49ers offense ranked number 7 in total yardage compared to the Dallas defense that was number 19, so basically middle of the pack. Some of the things that I believe the 49ers need to do well, and it's something that they've always done well when they've had successful drives and successful games, is getting yards on first down. I know it's a typical football cliche. Every team wants to do it, but when the Niners can actually effectively do it, they really leads to a lot of good things. Shanahan can really open up the playbook, get a bunch of our different weapons involved, and it makes it really difficult to defend the offense. So, of course, we're going to see heavy doses of Elijah Mitchell. I think he's going to be the main guy carrying the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him get at least 20 carries on Sunday. But of course, we know that Shanahan loves to dial up those runs with Deebo Samuel. Now, here's the thing. I actually expect us to run that play with Deebo where we, in shotgun, we hand it off and he kind of runs off tackle. I'd expect 1 or 2 of those in the first quarter. We'll probably see, and what Shanahan will look for is whether it's successful or not, to see how Dallas defends that, because every team will defend it a little bit differently, and then use that and how they've defended it for future play calls later in the game where maybe they can exploit the Dallas defense, which is a defense that's very, very aggressive, will take risks, but it's something that I think Shanahan will be able to exploit once we get to like the second half, where maybe we run those plays and then we hit them where they're weak. Couple of things too. We know that defenses going forward are going to be absolutely paying so much attention to George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. So the other guys have to step up. Against the Rams, they did step up in a big way. Ayuk led the team in receiving yards. He's going to have to do that again. Jawan Jennings was crucial on third downs, also in the red zone too, made some really big time plays. So we're going to need to keep seeing that. Those guys have to win their matchups. One of the things that like the Niners really count on with Ayuk and with Jawan Jennings is beating those man-to-man coverages when it's like third and short, or even Ayuk getting down the field. You know, we saw that multiple times against the Rams. The Niners will have to do that again against the Dallas Cowboys. When I look about X factors here, of course it'd be really easy to say, well, Garoppolo, Kittle or Deebo. My X factor for this game is going to be, someone who's been a little bit unheralded, but has actually been ranked very highly by Pro Football Focus. And that's right tackle Tom Compton. How is he going to hold up against this Dallas pass rush? Because, of course, they have the outstanding rookie Micah Parsons, who's been incredibly impressive. But they also have DeMarcus Lawrence, too. So let's not forget about him, the veteran guy who's been around as a much maybe wider array of pass rush moves. But how is he going to hold up in pass protection? Of course, the big, huge news, which is very positive for us, is Trent Williams is looking like he will be playing, which is awesome. But on that right side of the offensive line, how will Tom Compton hold up? Do we have to maybe keep Juszczyk or Kittle in to block some more than what we'd like to? That'll be something to keep an eye on. So hopefully hopefully Tom Compton has a strong game, but you just never know. Of course, with any game, you gotta make sure that Jimmy takes care of the ball. Dallas is number one in interceptions on defense by a long shot. They've had 26 interceptions on the year. That's insane. That's almost like an interception and a half per game, which is actually, compared to the Niners, have had 9. So about 3 times as many interceptions as the Niners defense. So we know that Dallas takes risks. So they're really looking at that risk reward. Sometimes, hey, it'll pay off. Sometimes not so much. You do see Dallas get into those shootout games like they did against Tampa Bay on week 1, for example. So they'll take risks. And sometimes it pays off for them. Sometimes not. It's one of those things that we've watched Garoppolo enough that, he tends to take risks himself. I really hope that Shanahan is in his ear and is like, hey, we gotta be careful with this one, because we really have to limit the opportunities that Dallas offense is going to get, because we know how explosive it is. So expect a heavy run dose. Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys run defense has not been very good as of late. So if we can get those chunk yards on first down, second down, set up more safe, more cautious pass plays, and then a few times a game, maybe we do that play action and we throw it deep, trying to hit them when they're really, maybe coming up closer to the line of scrimmage. But overall, got to take care of the football, because we have to limit what Dallas can do offensively. Limit the possessions, control the clock, play 49er football is really the name of the game here. All right, so now we are going to be talking about the matchup between the 49ers defense against the Dallas Cowboys offense. And this one here is a much more interesting one, you could argue. A lot more tightly contested in terms of statistically throughout the season. So the Cowboys, they did have the number 1 ranked offense in terms of yards per game in the NFL in the regular season. Where did the Niners defense rank in yards? Yards given up, the Niners defense was number 3 in the NFL. So this is going to be a really close matchup between a really good offense and a defense that is really good and also has been playing much better as of late. Let's take a little look as well at some of the other statistical categories where the Dallas Cowboys offense is against the 49ers defense. So Dallas, number 2 in the league in passing, number 9 in rushing, and they are also the number 1 offense in terms of scoring points. San Francisco, on the other hand, on defense, number 6 in passing defense, number 7 in rushing defense, and number 10 in scoring defense. So this is a much tightly contested matchup as opposed to the Niners offense versus the Dallas defense. Overall, we really just have to play smart football. Here's the things that really killed us in that Rams game are the defensive penalties. So for example, I loved Dre Greenlaw's energy and intensity, but he has to reel it in. He had a completely unnecessary face mask that really gave the Rams a whole lot of momentum, gave them an extra 15 yards on a key drive in the fourth quarter. So that's not good. But if we can play within ourselves, play with intensity, but also play smart football, that's what we absolutely need to do. Speaking of penalties, Dallas is actually number 1 in penalty yards on offense. They get a whole bunch of holding calls, false starts, blah, all these things. So if the Niners can really force Dallas into making some of those mistakes, maybe just before the snap, maybe showing like different exotic blitzes perhaps and whatnot, really get the Cowboys offense maybe overthinking, force them into bad situations where it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long. This right there is a great segue into what I want to talk about next, which is going to be, can the Niners defense on 3rd and long get off the field? Again, we've talked about it. The Dallas offense, the number one scoring offense, the number one offense in yards. We have to limit their opportunities. If we get them into those third and long situations, we have to get off the field. Not only that, we have to win the turnover battle. Can we force a fumble? Can we make a big interception? The Niners defense hasn't had a ton of interceptions this year, and Dallas also haven't thrown that many interceptions this year. But look, if we can make some of those key plays, and this is the playoffs, so as much as I'm talking about all these stats for the regular season, this now comes down to one individual isolated game. So if we can make the big plays, force them into mistakes, who cares about the stats from the rest of the season earlier on? A couple of things that I talk about, and I've talked about this in recent videos as well in terms of previews. The focus, as we know, on the defensive line is going to be on Nick Bosa. We've seen the Rams do it, we've seen the Texans do it, we've seen the Titans do it. They have that tight end who kind of stays in to chip Nick Bosa a little bit, just to give the tackle a little extra help in terms of blocking Nick Bosa. Here's the thing, sometimes we'll even see the guard and the tackle block Nick Bosa. That allows our other guys to step up, which the other guys have been, so let's give them credit. So Eric Armstead against the Rams was a monster. He was everywhere, just ridiculous. Maybe the best game I've ever seen Eric Armstead play as a 49er, which is great to see. Also, Arden Key getting in there consistently. Samson Ebukam, Jordan Willis, all these guys, even Emmanuel has been getting in there a lot. So getting that pressure on Dak Prescott, don't give him time to get comfortable. The Dallas likes their explosive plays to Amari Cooper, Ceedee Lamb. They also like to throw it to their tight ends, especially Dalton Schultz deep. So if we can force them into pressure, don't allow them to have those opportunities to throw it deep, then I think we'll be looking really good. We talked about an X factor for the 49ers offense. Now let's talk about the X factor for the 49ers defense. That's going to be a guy who's played out of his mind all year and has earned a huge contract in the offseason, hopefully with the Niners, but we'll see. That's going to be DJ Jones. He's just been insane. There's been countless times I can think of throughout the year where it's first down and 10, opposing offense hands the ball off to their running back straight away. Bam, who's there? DJ Jones to meet him for a no gain, a loss of 1, a loss of 2, even only a pickup of 1. So he's been consistently winning the battles in the trenches, and we need to keep seeing that. If he can keep doing that now against a Dallas offense who does have some really good running backs. Let's not forget the Dallas running game too. Ezekiel Elliott. Someone who actually scares me more is Pollard. Tony Pollard is a lot. Usually it's those fast guys who can really beat us. So hopefully the defense comes prepared. Fred Warner is going to have a big game as well. He did make some big plays against the Rams, which is good to see. Dre Greenlaw's there, obviously, and then also it looks like Azeez Al-Shire is going to be practicing as well. So we have our full arsenal of linebackers. So I expect to see all three of them on the field actually quite a bit. I'd like to see Dre Greenlaw maybe step up and do a little bit better in coverage. There was a couple of times where he got caught looking, got a little bit lost in coverage against the Rams, which can be expected because he's just missed so much time this season. But hopefully that after he got that game out of the way and kind of back in pads and playing real football again, it's going to bode well for Dre Greenlaw and of course the Niners defense, and of course huge things that we need to talk about. What we're going to look at, you have to talk about is Ambry Thomas and Emmanuel Moseley up against Amari Cooper, Ceedee Lamb. Good things with the Niners is they've been battle tested against a bunch of really good receiving cores, and in recent weeks too. Just last week, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham. So when you match up Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham against Amari Cooper and Ceedee Lamb, I think I got to lean towards it, Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham as being the better receiving duo. But look, we can't sleep on Amari Cooper and Ceedee. They're both great players. But luckily, the Niners defense has been up against some really good duos as well. So it's not something that's completely foreign to them. Overall, I do think the Niners defense is going to make some plays. However, I just see this as being a really back and forth game. So hopefully, at the end of the day, we can limit the Dallas offense and they don't have those big explosive plays. If we can limit those, I think we have a really good chance in this game. All right, so I really want to hit on special teams very quickly. I think it's one of those things where it gets often overlooked. We're not totally sure right now, as of the recording, if Mitch Wisnowski will be playing. Hopefully he will, because he's a really solid punter, and plus he has that familiarity with holding the ball for Robbie Gould. But quick note here. Dallas is actually number 2 in the NFL in kick return yardage. So all I want to see on Sunday is Robbie Gould on the kickoffs, just kicking it right through the end zone. I don't want to play around with any games. Just kick the ball through the end zone. Let the Cowboys start on the 25. I don't want to see returns from the Cowboys. So that's really wrapped up my breakdown, my preview of the game. I want to say, a special thank you again to all the support again that we've seen through the streams, through the videos. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help me out, especially as a channel that's still very young, new and growing, so that's awesome. I do want to say that for Sunday's game against the Cowboys, I'll be going live about maybe 30 minutes before kickoff. We'll be previewing the game there, talking about the other playoff games that have already happened. Feel free to hop into the stream, join the conversation. It's always been a fun time. Another cool thing that we'll be doing is tomorrow I will actually be joining 49ers Ultimate Report. We'll be discussing maybe the preview for the game, how our channels have been going, just 49ers talk in general. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. So we'll have links for that in the coming videos. So that'll be cool. Check that out and check out his channel. That's 49ers Ultimate Report. And yeah, keep an eye out for future videos coming up. Of course, I'll be breaking down the game against the Cowboys, which is a fun one. It's a real throwback to the 90s when these two teams used to meet all the time, really batted heads. Hopefully the Niner faithful show up in Dallas just like they did in LA, and we see just a sea of red on that TV. That would be awesome. But other than that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. But again, thanks for stopping by. And I just want to say that the butt counts. And I'm going to catch you all on the flip side.